Hello everybody. I picked a time to come out here at the river and do a Riverside Chat. It's peaceful here. You have no idea that there's all kinds of garbage going on around the world. Come out here, I can hear, bugs, I can hear the birds. The river's quiet, it doesn't make any noise. I think I'll put some footage at the end so you can just watch the river for a minute or so. There's nobody really here. I think that there's 2 campsites plus mine camping. But we're all out here because we're away from the danger. The danger is never going to fully come out here, because it's not going to have a chance. If it was a matter of taking over the world, it would include every place, but they're not going to win. Satan's going to get his 15 minutes of fame. He's going to try everything he can to derail God's plan. If he can stop anything that God has got planned, anything that we're told about in the Bible, he's won. That's all he has to do. And he's tried so many times. He's like the coyote. He's not going to win, but he won't quit. I'm talking to a lot of people out here, and I see on the trails and around me at the campsites, and they're running scared. What do we do? One guy was saying, I got to go buy more ammunition. Well, if you feel that's what you need, but don't go to war with it, defend your family with it. There's a difference. You don't know where the enemy is. They've let so many people come across that border. They could be setting up terror cells in every major city right now. And the way the police force is working right now, especially like in New York and in California cities, they're just watching the burglars walk into a store and ransack it. A lot of the big stores are pulling out because they can't afford the losses. And nobody's doing anything. They're letting murderers go the next day. They've got some people in this recent shooting, but they're going to let them go. As soon as the media stops focusing on it, they're going to let them go, because they want them to do that. That's the chaos that they need to overthrow this country. But don't worry. God has told us all about this. For anybody who's studying the Bible, we know that these times are going to get really bad. We know that we don't have to go through the really bad stuff. But nothing you've seen so far in the West is really bad yet. Now, an ex-police chief just had a big gathering up in D.C. area, and his conclusion, to sum it up, is we're at a place close to what 9/11 was at. The amount of chatter going on, the amount of things that are out there that are at risk. We're going to get hit with another 9/11. I guarantee it. Between now and November, something big is going to happen. They're going to have to take control of the government, take it away from the people, declare martial law, and not have an election. Trump's not going to get in. They're not going to let him have a chance. They're trying everything else. It's not working because they're all crooked, and they can't get honest people to help crooked people keep running things. Oh, the cities that they control, that the left's already been in and have already messed up, they're going to continue to be that way because the people have no clue. If they ever find out, they'd be skinning politicians just as fast as they could. But they have no idea, so their politicians are safe. But be careful that you don't get pulled into any of this stuff. This fight is between God and Satan. Don't be one of the pawns out in the middle. You're going to get sacrificed. Protect yourself and your family. Prep so you don't have to go out as much. I would do a lot of ordering, frankly. You know, the owner of Amazon's building a bomb shelter, bunker. Follow the leaders. Don't go build a bomb shelter, but at least have enough food. If it starts to break down, you don't want to go out in public. Right now, there's stuff going on in the major cities. I wouldn't want to be in a major city. I would try to get out if you could. Now, some people can't. They're dependent upon their work. But if you can spend more time maybe working from home, more time doing something else, traveling, so you can not be in the danger zone, I would do that. Don't worry, God will protect you, but don't be stupid. If there's a fight going on, don't jump in the middle of it if you don't know who's doing what. Make sure you're aware of what's going on. If there's somebody trapped, look and see how many people are there. It's not going to do any good to call the police or the military or anybody else eventually, because they're going to just be told to stand down and don't do anything. Just let it happen. They're already doing that in some areas. Some areas that are more rural might be able to build up a militia to fight back. But the kind of fighting that we're fighting here is going to be very tough. You don't know where the enemy is. And if you stick out too much, they're going to come and attack you, and you see how they attack. Ruthlessly, secretly, terroristically. That's hard to fight. Now, God will, again, protect us, but you've got to use some wisdom to go with that. So pray for wisdom and protection. Now, we're not going to go through the tribulation. We have a pre-trib rapture. If you don't believe in that, I'm sorry. The good news is you will be surprised in the good way. We're not subject to wrath, and the second half of the tribulation is the wrath of God. So we're definitely not going to be there for that. I don't think we're going to recognize the Antichrist. I don't think we're going to see him, because we would recognize him. We have the Spirit of God in us. And even if half of us are connected good enough to see what's going on, we would recognize him and alert everybody. He doesn't want anybody to figure it out until he defiles the temple. So we're not going to be here. And I don't think we're going to have to worry about the mark of the beast. We're not going to have to worry about pledging allegiance to the ruling Satan, because that's how you get the mark. It's not using the money. Digital money is just a tool. So it's not using the money that gets you the mark. But you cannot use the money unless you bow down to the Antichrist. That's the part that gets you kicked out of heaven. Now comes our rangers to check on us. Not much to check on. There's nobody here. So I'll turn and wave, I guess. Don't know if he's going to stop. If he's going to stop, I might have to pause this. Nope, he just turned around and heading back up. Nothing to do here, nothing to see. Keep moving along. We're still in winter, and we had a big rainstorm. The river's up and it's muddy, but it's not rapids. We don't get that kind of stuff here. You're not supposed to swim in the river because the current's too fast. It would wash you downstream, and if you were a good swimmer, you'd get to the shore, but the problem is we don't know what's under the water. And I don't mean sea monsters, but there's branches and trees and stuff that wash down. Sometimes they get stuck. You can get caught on them. So it's best to avoid swimming where you cannot see. All the lakes in Georgia are pretty much the same way. There's a river running down the valley. They put a dam at one end, and they just fill up the valley. They don't go in and take the trees out. If they're doing it as part of the task, they're not going to take the trees out. They might sell the lumber to somebody if they really wanted to get to it, if it was easy to get to. But most of the time it's not. We've got lakes up here that have gas stations at the bottom of them. They just flood the valley. We can live off of nature, but we can't live off of what people will do to it. So anyhow, please don't get caught up in the hype. If you watch the news every evening and that's your ritual, I'd find some other ritual. I'd go to flogging or something else. If you just want to torture yourself, go hit yourself over the back with a flog. Don't watch the news. It'll depress you, and Satan will win because you're putting garbage in. Unless you know exactly where you're going and what you're doing, but don't just listen to the mainstream media because they want you to be upset. Oh my God, there's another attack. There's going to be a lot of attacks. The United States is not in the Bible. The largest Christian nation in the world is not in the Bible. Well, it's easy to see right now why we're not. Maybe 50 or 100 years ago we couldn't figure it out. But right now, it's easy to see. They're doing everything they can to help Satan. They're helping the one world government people. They're doing everything they can to promote the digital money so that we can switch over to it, so you can be controlled. We're going to get out of here somewhere in the midst of that. Don't know when. Not knowing the day or the hour has to do with Christ's second coming, where he comes in the sky with a multitude of people. That we don't know the day and the hour. The rapture, none of the raptures are really spoken of. We know that the two witnesses are raptured. Brought up to heaven. They're killed, resurrected, and lifted to heaven before anybody could try to kill them again. And they would. The whole world is being propagandized now to hate Israel. Now they're saying that Israel created the situation on October 7th just so they'd have a reason to attack. So they'd have a reason to attack Hamas. It's all a lie. Satan's got the media in his pocket. He doesn't have to worry about anybody calling him out saying that's a lie. Oh, I know. What are you doing? You're right above me, but you're not. He's a little bit over. If I thought if he was right above me, I'd move over a bit. But quiet. See, that's what the world's doing. It's just making noise, keeping everybody on edge. Nobody's going to have enough money to really be comfortable, so they're going to be on edge for that. Food prices are just going crazy. I've still got my 50-year sustainable food. I don't have 50 years worth of food, but it will last 50 years, and I bought it maybe 10 years ago. It's not the greatest food in the world. My expensive camping bags of food where you just add water, they're a lot better. And the new MREs are a lot better. But it is food, and if you need to eat, would you get off up there? I must be hitting on the truth because God does Satan doesn't want him to talk. Yeah, he just put a deposit down on my speech over here to my left. You miss me. This is minor, compared to what some people are going to have to go through. We're going to see close to what the first century did. After we're gone, after the Christians are gone, the people that are left are going to have to make decisions. Stand for God and severely be punished, or cave and swear allegiance to the Antichrist. They're signing their doom when they do that. Now, most of the world is going to be oblivious to God and what God wants, and they're going to just get in line, shove people aside to be the first in line to sign up for this, to get the mark of the beast. They're going to want to go for that. Hitler had a trial run. They've got marks on them, people that were in the death camps. So Hitler was a little a Antichrist, a trial run. Now they know how to do it. They're using some of Mein Kampf. They're also using rules for radicals. If you don't know what they are, look them up. Read them if you want, but just look and see what's happening. All right, how are we doing on time? The sun went down a little bit so I can see. Okay, well, I've got about another week here, I guess. I'm here until the 19th at this site. I've got to be out for 3 days, so I'm going to do my normal thing. I'm going to go to another site just close by for 3 days and then come right back. And I've already got my site reserved when I come back. Next month, and I might try to call today when I get back to see if they're taking reservations at the other site, the long-term site. If they are, then I can get better set up there, and I'd only have to be out for, I don't know, I can stay there, then I got to get out for like a week, and then I can go back. I'm not sure what it is now, I don't remember, but I'm fine. I got my car fixed. That was a big thing. It was another piece of plastic. Come on, guys, why are you putting so much plastic in these cars in major positions? I can see cosmetically having fenders or plastic and things like that. But a plastic clip broke and I couldn't start my car. And then this bearing, the bearing was worn and it started wobbling, and that broke the plastic that was holding it in place. Normally, if it's just spinning true on the axis, there's no movement around. But as it starts to wear, then it starts to move, and so the plastic worked for a long time. I got 200,000 miles on my car plus. So it lasted for a while. Why would you put that in plastic? Anyhow, pretty soon it won't matter, will it? But we just got to keep functioning. That's the main thing. And that's what you kind of look at. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. If everybody in your family's a Christian, we're all going to be fine. It's just we got to get there. We got to get to the rapture. We don't have to get to anything else. We got to get to the rapture. And when we're pulled out, we're snatched away. We're snatched away for a reason. Because it's so bad down here that if he didn't snatch us away, we'd be killed. So something's going to happen big time. Whether it's nuclear bombs falling, whether it's riots in the streets, whatever it is, whether it's a plague. We're not really sure where we are in this timeline, and that's deliberate to a degree. We got to have faith. Put that faith to work. Trust God. If you want to, do things to protect your family, that's fine. But passive protection is the best way to do this. Because you're not going to find very many supporters outside of our Christian family. The world doesn't care about us. In fact, the world wants us gone. They want Israel gone. Look at what they're doing. The UN, who's supposed to be a peace-loving organization, is anything but that. They all hate Israel and want Israel to go away. God's going to give them exactly what they want. And then he's going to leave them down here to take care of the world that's going to collapse right underneath them. There's nothing they can do about it. And it'll be too late. Like I said, people are running scared right now. Try to assure them that they're going to be okay if they're a Christian. If they're not, tell them the only way you can guarantee their safety is for them to be a Christian. The more things get bad, the better Christ will look to a non-Christian. Unless they're really on the dark side. And then everything Christian is evil to them. But people that are down the middle, where we're going to be meeting most of our people, we're not going to be hanging out in places to meet the really bad people. The people that we're going to see during the day when we're at the market or whatever we're doing at work, they're going to be open to talk about it. Feel the weight. You don't have to start reading the Bible to them the first day. Work your way in. Talk about it. Find out common interest. That's how communication works. And then when they trust you, then you can spring God on them. Okay. This is enough of a break, guys. Let's get back to work. We're going to survive this one way or the other. Get your food stores up. You're going to need them. Get things fixed. Keep your car gassed up just in case you have to make a panic run to get away from wherever you're at. Don't let your car get down. The gas may just run out. And if you've got a full tank, you've got that long before you have to worry about it. Now, don't go buy 100 gallons, stick it in your bathtub. Be smart about it. I've seen people fill baggies up with gas. Come on. Use your noggin. Be safe when you're doing these things. And you draw attention to yourself when you do that. Try not to draw attention to yourself if the environment is not right. God will set up the right environment for you to talk to people. If two factions are downtown arguing with each other, unless you've got a whole bunch of people supporting you, don't go get in the middle of them and start chiding them on. Common sense, people. The wisdom of Solomon. You can ask for it. Till we meet in the skies. God bless.